So in this question, we're going to draw a histogram. And the histogram we're going to draw here represents the percentage scores in a test. So we're going to make some kind of graphical display of that. So a histogram, what's required for a histogram is the bars that go up from this bottom line here, which is the percentage scores, they must represent an area which represents the frequency. So what we need to do first of all, before we start to go into it too much, is have a look at the table of values. Now we've got a range for the scores ranging from 0 to 100. Now you'll notice here it's 0 to 10, including 0, but not 10. Here we've got greater than or equal to 10 and up to 30, we're not including 30. Now it's very important when drawing these tables that we don't have scores from the end of this range included with the end of this range. Because if we included 10 here, if someone scored 10, they would appear twice on the results chart. So that's really important before we start. Okay, now you'll notice the ranges here of the different scores, they vary a little bit. So when doing our frequency density values for the histogram, first of all, I've got this little column here called D for the depth of each one of these lines. So this one 0 to 10 is 10, 10 to 30 is 20, 30 to 60 is 30, and 60 to 70 is 10, and 70 to 100 is 30. So that's the first thing there, what we need. Then what we need to do is just taking a look at this setup for our graph. I've got the frequency density and we need to set up our range of values here. Now if I just wrote in these frequency numbers up to 57 for example, or up to 60 sorry, which is the largest, that's not going to work for our areas of our bars. So what I need to do now is set up a frequency density value. Now if I use the depth D of each of one of those and divide the frequency value by it. So for example here, 0 to 10, the frequency of that was 20. The range is 10, so 20 divided by 10. So if I write that like that, 20 divided by 10, that gives me 2. Then here I've got 20 here for my range because it's 10 to 30. Frequency is 28. 28 divided by 20. So if I do that, that's going to give me 1.4. Then this one here, I've got a range of 30 to 60. My frequency is 57. So I want 57 divided by 30. So 57 divided by 30, that's going to give me 1.9. And then this one here, the range is 10. Frequency is 35. So 35 divided by 10, that gives me 3.5. And finally the last one, range of 30 and frequency is 60, so 60 divided by 30, that gives me 2. Okay, so now my frequency density values is what I'm interested in now. So I've got 2, 3.5, 1.9, 1.4 and 2. So starting from 0, the maximum I need is 3.5. So we've got some fractions of each as well, so I want to give myself plenty of room to fit those fractions on here. So if I go up to 4, that'll be enough to fit in all my values. So if I go 4, then I go 2 here, call that one 3 and call that 1. So we need these in some kind of ratio evenly placed. And then these ones here, the percentage scores, also evenly spaced along the bottom. And you'll notice here my 0, 10, 30, 60, 70 and 100, they're the ones which are written more in bold because they're the critical values which cut off my different ranges. So first of all, let's look at 0 to 10. 0 to 10, my frequency density is 2. So if I just make a note here of 2, and then 10 is here, so my bar will go down, straight down to 10, and go along to 2. So that will represent my scores from 0 to 10. 10 to 30, so that goes from here to here. My frequency density is 1.4, which would be around about here. So 1.4, 10 to 30, going across, that represents 10 to 30. 30 to 60, range of 30, 1.9 is my frequency density bar. So 1.9 is about here, 30 to 60 comes along here. So now I will go along there and draw straight down there. Okay, next one, 60 to 70, so that's these two. My frequency density is 3.5, which is about here. So now if I go up to about here, so I would recommend using a ruler if you're doing this in your book, but this works fine for me to explain on the whiteboard here. And then last one, 70 to 100, frequency density is 2. So go along here, and that will complete that. And there's a histogram to represent that table of values, and the area of these would represent all values. So you can see here the biggest areas are going to be this one and this one, and you see they've got the highest frequencies, 57 and 60, so that's proportionate. Okay,